Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Tarot and Tea with the lovely Miss Kate May in the UK. And we are diving into Leo season, which feels like a breath of fresh air after Cancer season. So first off, Kate, welcome. So lovely to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how was Cancer season for you? Because mine was a bit of a doozy.
Yeah, it wasn't I mean I'm like Taurus with Capricorn rising, so I haven't got a lot of water anyway. My moon is in Aries, so which is fire. So it wasn't emotional for me. Um in fact, I would say it was probably one of my busiest months work-wise, really, really busy there. But I did have quite a few light bulb moments, especially towards the end, which I think was connected to the full moon in the Capricorn, because obviously we had two last month. So I had, yeah, I let some things go, things that I was working on that I thought, there's that fine line between like your ego and you're driving towards something. And that I've learned and did quite a bit on this month. And what you're working towards, what your head thinks you want, what you want, and then what's good for your soul and what your soul really wants. And I think there's a fine line between what you're driving towards because you want it, and actually sometimes it's not really what the universe and what your soul wants. So I recognized a few patterns towards the end of the month where I thought maybe I'm just being led by my ego, and that's why these things aren't going in the direction I want. And the things that are super easy, maybe I should just go into that more and just flow, go with the flow. And that seems to be clearing a lot of blocks that I was just going round and round circles in. So I probably had more epiphanies in this month than ever, really, than ever.
Yeah, I think collectively we're all definitely experiencing a an opportunity to level up. And I usually am really excited in July. I love my birthday. I am a Leo rising, so there is that flavor of it's exciting. But this year, last month, I pulled the chaos card, and I kind of want to go back and listen to our conversation because I want to see all that actually transpired. But it feels like what moved through both of us really did come into play. And so the chaos is necessary in nature and necessary in our lives to really kind of initiate change. And sometimes we don't want to do that because change makes us feel really insecure and not safe, and it's the unknown. And I think that
Mhm.
there was just a lot, especially in my emotional world, like just more of with that 29-degree Pisces moon, I feel everything so intensely. And sometimes I don't want to feel because it shows up, it's physical. It hurts. It hurts to feel that deeply. And so I haven't admitted until these recent years of how much I want to control things. And because of my Cancer placements, I have three: Mars, Mercury, and my Sun in the 12th house. That 12th house, I think, did
Mm.
a deep dive. And I really went deep and I activated some like inner Lilith, which I haven't really worked with Lilith, and just some other aspects that I kind of thought I was free and clear for a minute, and then I got drugged down deeper, and it was exhausting. Like I feel exhausted. I felt like I stayed in bed a lot. I didn't really want to be social,
Mhm.
cried a lot, and then we're a little bit behind schedule on releasing this Leo. So we went into Leo season yesterday, and I do feel this sort of breath of fresh air. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I can come above water now. So I have very high hopes for what we're moving towards because what I just went through was pretty dark.
Oh yeah. I mean, Leo is a lot more fun energy. I think the intuitive part of Cancer for me really came out in understanding and listening to my intuition more than my head. Really, that really came about. But I know people around me, and certainly, the clients that I've seen this month have really been going through some big transformational times. But there is a theme. There's always a theme in the cards. I don't know if you see it with your clients. When we had the lockdown, just before, a few months before, I was like, oh my God, something's going to be happening here collectively. And then obviously the lockdown, I was like, okay, now I know what it is. And then as we were getting back on track, I knew that it would here, we were closed for 3 months, and I knew it'd be 3 months. And as we were coming out of it and we could start to do some face-to-face work again, after a couple of months, I was like, oh, I see another theme. And then we had the second lockdown. And we've just had our government changing over in the Capricorn full moon energy, and I'm seeing the theme again, and it's more to do with public image. It
Mm.
seems to be more government led wise, so it seems to be a bit more um, to do with outside influences rather than internal influences. But I'm hoping that we can have a bit of fun in this Leo energy. I mean, here in the UK, we don't get a lot of sun, really. We've had pockets of it, but a lot of us are kind of thinking, is our summer over now? And this is the time when I tend to down tools a little bit more. Between July and September, I don't do as much work as I normally do, although having said that, touch wood, I've probably been the busiest I've been ever. But as far as projects go, workshops, projects, all my books, I don't do much of that until we get back into the Virgo energy, and then I'm on it. But I do use Leo's energy of just going out, partying, having fun, being sociable. And I tried in a Cancer season and I wanted to be at home naturally. I was like forcing myself to go out because I was like, this is summer, I need to go out. So I'm optimistic that um optimism and that enthusiasm for life can grab us again. And of course, we've got the Lions portal as well, the Lions Gate on the 8th of August. So we have got a transformative time and manifesting time. So there's some great things to look forward to, I think, this month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too. Can you tell us about that? I don't know a lot about it. So the Lionsgate portal is on the
Mhm.
eighth day of the eighth month, and what does it mean? Like, where did it come from?
So Sirius, it's where there's an alignment of Sirius and the Sun and Leo, and they align perfectly to form this Lion's Gate or energy. And it's we should be getting a bit more of meteorite showering, more enhancement, but it's a lot to do with opening a spiritual portal on that gateway. For manifestations, it's number 8, so infinity. So that means that we have got unlimited possibilities to manifest and create what we want. It's very much as the shower of the meteorites come down and we have that alignment with Sirius, it will bring us all the energy from the Leo. So that strength, that courage, the play, that wisdom, that the lion's energy brings with a sparkle. I'm going to say, like, with a little bit of extra sparkle on top to make some magic happen. It gives us the courage to walk through the portal, to have a big spiritual awakening. But it's to do with the Sirius lineup of the stars there. So it's quite magical. And once I mean, I've known about it for several years now. In fact, this year I've got a video going out on it to help people understand it, and a meditation. But once I started to work with it, the energy around that time is really magical, really magical. And I don't know if it was there before because I wasn't recognizing it, but it's like one of those things when you become aware of something, it heightens it for you. So yeah, manifestation at its best, really, from the Lion's portal, but it's the serious connection to do with the stars lining up
Mm,
there.
I'm so excited. I have a class coming up this week, actually. It starts, what day is it? It starts in 2 days, but it's called Unicorn, and it
I
really
see.
is all about that mystical realm. And I think I
Mhm.
scared people away by calling it unicorn. Like it's not, I don't have as many signups as I expected. And I think it is because it's just so woo with that name, but it is that realm of like tapping into the inner child sense of wonder and awe, and that realm in between worlds, like not the spirit world but not the human world, and how we can tap into a frequency that really opens us up to
Mhm.
fully receiving, and that
Yeah.
really is about embodying worthiness and
I
understanding.
love the word unicorn. I think it's probably more what I was getting there when you said that. It's the holiday season. So I think if you launched it with exactly the same name out of the holiday season, you'd have a different response. I don't think the name, I love that name. I think that's what grabbed me to see it when I saw your post. I was like, oh my God, unicorn. Yeah, I
Good.
think it's,
I have the unicorn deck. I'm like, I'm drawing one for Leo season. We're bringing it in.
yeah.
Good. Well, I mean, join me, you guys. If you want to come, it's going to be absolutely amazing. And it is going to be, it sounds like help with the frequency of the Lionsgate portal because it is opening up to the realm of possibility. That's what it is. It's the magical
Hmm.
realm of possibility. Yeah.
So how long does it run for? Will it be running over the 8th of the 8th?
No. So what's beautiful is I typically I'll get a download, and this wasn't more so a download because I've actually resisted this download because, as you know, about a year ago I had that first encounter that was pretty profound with this unicorn guide. And he introduced himself a year later as Adonis. And so I've been working with it, and I haven't really wanted to bring it to the forefront to teach on it. One, because I think I had a lot more to learn, but two, I was just maybe a little embarrassed. And now I'm like, this is a realm I work in. Like this is very real to me. So I'm gonna now communicate it. And so that's only two master classes. They're Wednesday and Thursday this week, but on the back end of that, I've just released a surprise offer, and that starts on the 7th, and that is going to be a bigger program. And right now it's $44, and it's going to be much more, and more will be revealed, but that one is going to be intense, and that's going to take up
Yeah.
all of Leo season, and I cannot wait, because that actually is what has moved through me in the past 4 days. Like I spent 3 days in bed just channeling and writing and inquiring and purging, and just you get in these creative zones that unless you do this work you don't quite understand the severity of it. And I feel bad for my husband, our poor husband. Well, your husband does the work, but like I'm like, what is it like to be married to somebody that is on this roller coaster?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got rid of my first husband that wasn't on this pathway. And that was down to a tarot reading. That was down to a tarot reading I did myself. I was like, oh, I've got to leave him today. And then I manifested the next one accidentally with tarot cards. But a lot of people ask us and say, like, oh, it must be amazing to be married to a medium and married to someone that's in all this, your conversations that you have. I'm like, we don't talk about it. We really, really don't. In fact, it's more probably for me, I think we're so different. And he's got a Leo rising as well. He's Aquarius with a Leo rising. The only part of Leo that I can see that he has is when he does his platform work and he
Mm,
is center stage. But other than that, he is not into any kind of pushing himself. And I try to encourage him because he's such a master at his work, try to encourage him more. And he's just like goes with the flow with it. So we're very opposite. But when we come home, yeah, we just don't talk about it. It's really, we're just normal. We're normal. But we do get a lot of people saying, you must talk about it all the time. If I ask him, because his knowledge is so phenomenal and he's had, years, he's older than me, years of experience more than me, it kind of like, it's like he don't want to talk about it. He's like, well, I've done what that in the day. I'm like, I'm at home watching the movie now. So I have to get my resources elsewhere, which is very annoying when he has all that in his head. But yeah, it's nice to be on the same page as someone and our religious beliefs to be on the same page. Absolutely. And I can talk about some things and he won't completely think I'm cuckoo, although some areas he does. But as a rule, it's not as unnormal as you'd probably think in
yeah.
our there.
Yeah. I know that my husband holds space. Like he holds beautiful space. And we were recently somewhere, and I could tell this woman was feeling a little scattered and insecure. And I watched him like go over to her and just start to talk to her. And the way he was standing, I energetically could see him grounding her. And I was like, you were holding space for her. And he's like, I usually do that for people. And like, I think it's like he doesn't know that he's doing it, but he's doing it in his own way. But then there's other aspects. Like a couple weeks ago, I had a reading where this woman, I knew right when I got on the call because of the way my body was responding, but she had found out about an affair. And when you've had that experience, it comes back. Like you have it back in your body, and it's really disruptive. And so I had messaged him to wait a couple minutes because I wanted to give him a hug before he left for work, and he didn't get it and he left. And I called him and I was hysterical because I was just, moving of course on the call I was professional, but the minute the call ended, I just was like, oh my gosh, this is just such a terrible, terrible energy to move through. And he didn't understand why I was crying. And he's like, do you want me to turn around? Like, I don't understand. I'm like, no, you don't have to turn around. I'm just emotional. He's like, I will never understand you. I'm like, don't say that. Just like lie to me. I did just like, because you just move through these like bursts of emotions. And then, 5 minutes later, you're okay.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
That side of things, it's nice. Like, I mean, he gets really affected by the moon, but he doesn't realize it. So he'll be very quiet, or he might go withdrawn, and he'll just be a little bit, maybe a bit touchy. And then we'll kind of think, and I'm like, oh, there's a full moon. That's why you're like that. And then I'll say to him, oh, there's a full moon. And then we'll look at his chart and we'll see the moon is, and then we'll see, well, that's where that is. So he gets that. So that's really good. And he has those moves just before, not on every single full moon, but that is my red light to be like, oh, there must be a full moon coming up, because I can tell by his mood. So he's got Libra moon. So he's more sensitive to that than what I am with a Aries moon. He's
Yeah.
much sensitive to that.
So let's talk about this full moon we just went through, because this was like a whopper of a moon and is a Capricorn. And in my mind, sort of like the first Capricorn moon of this season, I did feel like Capricorn is usually can be masculine, but I was just listening to a podcast the other day that it also can be related to mother. So, but when I feel into
Yeah.
Capricorn energy, it's order, it's structure, it's order, it's problem solving. And this one felt extremely emotional for me. Do you know why? Like I have no idea why, but that
What house does Capricorn sit in for you?
Capricorn is in my sixth house.
So duty to others, yes, that's your day-to-day routines, and how you go about helping people in your sixth house, and of course your health as well. So if you were feeling perhaps a little bit emotional with other things that are affecting you on a day to day, that could be a little bit of a light bulb moment there. But also if you haven't got some structure, if things haven't been in a routine, having that in the sixth house, you'll need to have a bit of routine and a bit of organization. And sometimes what we need and what we get are two different things. Um, it's you can be swimming against the tide when you're trying to get a routine and it's just not happening
Yeah.
there. So there could be an element of that going on. And I've heard, yeah, there's different aspects that say that although the mother rules the fourth house and the moon, father rules the 10th house with the career. I've heard aspects where there's it can be the other way around, where the fourth house is father and 10th house is mother,
Yeah.
and that the moon can be masculine and the sun is feminine. There's different druid connections there. So I think with all of it, you have to go with what you feel right. And the 10th house for me does feel more masculine. Although, again, over time, women are stepping into their power a lot more and taking over that 10th house. So maybe that's where the change is. But
Mm,
yeah, I mean Capricorn's energy, it's working, it's your career, it's your public life. It's very important house there. And to have two full moons. The first full moon I didn't really feel hit me as much as the second one. I think because I knew the second one was coming, I thought I'll have a second chance. I'll let it go for the first one because I'll catch up on the next one. But it was definitely work-based things that I've finished up, things that I've recognized that aren't going to serve me anymore. A Capricorn is my first house, being my ascendant there. I haven't done it much with my appearance as far as Capricorn energy goes there, because we are in summer, so I do dress a bit more girly. I don't dress formally in the Capricorn's energy, but most likely when we come into our winter, when we have the new moon, and that's in my first house, so appearance, I'll probably smarten up a bit then. But definitely, this one has made me realise what's working and what's not, and it's been nice to actually release it. And this is where I've kind of worked with the Cancer season, I think, with my intuition and recognizing when you're flogging a dead horse, and recognizing what your soul wants to what your ego wants. And your ego wants you to do like this and this, and like to be, especially with the 10th house, to be in the public domain of like all this, all that. And your soul's like, do you know what, you might want that, but your soul, you're not, that's not your calling.
yeah.
So follow your path of your calling, because your ego and your head is just going to get in the way. So I've really recognized that, mainly to do with my public work than home area anyway. But I did do a ceremony for the full moon, like I always do in the garden, but it didn't feel heavy. It just felt like a light bulb moment, really, of releasing there. But I think it's important to recognize what house it sits in. That really helps define the area as to
Mhm.
what you're going to be focusing on there for me.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And the Cancer too is all about nourishment. So it is mother, it is home, but it's also like how we nourish ourselves. And I remember watching the sunset on Sunday, and of course I wanted to get a picture because it just looked amazing, and I did. But then I was like, stop trying to get a picture and look at it. Like,
Mm.
what do you feel?
Yeah.
What's moving through you as you witness this sun that just it looked like it was on fire, like it was this orangey glowing, just really intense. And I felt like she's mad, like this sun consciousness in the Cancer's mad, like you haven't been nurturing into the depths of what you really need in the 12th house. And then this Capricorn comes in probably with order and structure. And it's like, how are you making sure that you are doing a routine that is going to benefit you, to
Mhm.
nurture you, not your career, not like not anything that's for other people or your image or what you think or perceive to be as safety, but actually just you being here in this vessel, this body. Because the probably the sixth house, that's what was moving through me at that moment. And it did feel like a light bulb moment, because that's
Mm.
something I'm not so good at, is that daily routine. So
And
I think that
yeah,
that's
and having it obviously in the sixth house, it is your service to others. So it's going to be hard to pull it back to yourself when
Mhm.
it's in that house of serving others. You have to remember to serve yourself at times. I have felt, I've been trying to like blend in with the Capricorn full moon, with the work and the structure and getting organized, but I'm in Leo. I've already been pulled into Leo of let's have some fun, let's play, let's be a bit louder and silly. And I just can't get that Capricorn vibe. And I should have it because it is in my first house, but it seems to have just touched me and then moved on really quick. And I'm excited to enjoy like a few weeks left, and with the children break up now, or my eldest has left school, but my youngest has just broken up today. So even though he probably won't want to spend any time with me, just knowing that we haven't got a routine, I haven't got to make sure he gets up, I'm not going to get those phone calls from the school for 6 weeks saying he's got into trouble, or an email saying he's got another detention. So I feel like I've got a 6 week break myself, and I just want to embrace it really.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, let's dive into it. Let's do some cards. We'll do the tarot first and just see like what's coming through. We survived cancer season. We hopefully did, a body check, a mind check, a soul check, and now we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, and it is inner child, Leo energy is inner child. It's that time when we can be a little bit more playful, when we don't have to be so serious and adult-y. We can play a little bit more, we can get creative, and find our inner strength. The tarot card for Leo is the strength card, so finding our inner strength and our power. And the strength card is about gentle tact, love wins over hate, where we don't have to throw our toys out the pram. That's an English saying. Some of you Americans don't know that actually, because when I teach to some of them, I said it as part of the tarot, and they were like, "What does that mean?" And it's basically it's like we don't have to be hot-headed with anything. We can relax a little bit more with the Leo's energy and be tactful. So nurturing people, ourselves, situations with care. Get people to eat out the palm of your hand, and that way you're in control. Once you've lost your rag and started screaming and shouting, you've lost your power. The Leo energy is about your inner power and dealing with people and situations and yourself in a gentle way, in a tactful way, to hold that power. Don't lose that power. So let's have a little look then at the vibe for us this month. Well, first one is Virgo. It is the Knight of Pentacles. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is slow and steady. So I would say here, don't worry about things of a material nature, work nature. Just being a bit slower this month. It's forming a foundation around you. Sometimes when we rush into things and we get bowled over too much and overwhelmed, we can miss the point of it all. So the Knight of Pentacles is moving as a knight. It's action, so it's moving something from one stage to another, but slow and steady and practical, methodically, and being grounded in that energy to build a foundation. Rome wasn't built in a day, so this is like, just take it easy, it will be all right, we can still build upon it, and we don't have to rush it. It is a commitment card as well, so it's like, that's very Capricorn energy. Commit to your goals, but know that you've got time to do them. You don't have to rush them. So moving forward slowly, setting a foundation and committing to whatever it is that you want, whether that's in relationships, whether that's in your personal health journey. Pentacles are to do with your physical well-being, your body, whatever journey, or your work ideas, just slowly. Okay, let's have a look at the next. I'm going to pull three.
Yeah.
Wheel of Fortune. I always love the Wheel of Fortune. So that's great. Um, And both of these have a September vibe for me when I'm doing my predictions. However, slow and steady is really going to win the race. So we will have a positive change coming this month. We're going to move, it's movement, so it is going to elevate us from one stage to another, regardless. And the Wheel of Fortune is, for me, like although action is needed, things are going to change anyway. It's the kind of universal law is saying that you're not where you're meant to be. We're going to move you and take a chance. This is Jupiter, so it's luck, opportunities, expansion. There may be some knowledge that comes in, so some people might be studying or expanding on what they want to do, what they want to learn, to take them from one stage to another. There could be physical movements. We've got holidays in the holiday season, so there could be physical movements going on, but expansion with luck, so propelling you to expand to the next level with the Wheel of Fortune. And destiny is saying you're ready for this luck, you're ready for this fortune now. Okay, and then the third one, ooh, different vibe here. It is the Seven of Swords. Okay, while we're busy ploughing on and perhaps manifesting our magic practically and making the changes, maybe we've got someone on the back of us that's looking out for themselves and being a bit sneaky. Now, the sneaky card, sometimes it is someone around you, so I would advise like having to watch your back a little bit there. Sometimes though, it's where we just need to be one step ahead of the game. So sneaky is not really the right word. Seven of Swords for me is like being proactive in your thinking, being smart in your thinking, and not cutting any corners. Again, doing things precisely, it with perfection with the Knight there, not cutting corners to get where you want to be, but making sure that you've got your wits about you and that everything is in order there. Trust your intuition. So if you're feeling perhaps that someone is a bit shady or a situation around you perhaps is too good to be true, then just trust that. Maybe it is too good to be true. It usually brings something to do with somebody being caught out, and you don't want it to be yourself. So as long as you're doing everything above board and the correct way, you've got nothing to worry about other than thinking one step ahead of the game. Perhaps you need to be, like I said, proactive. But you've got soldiers in the background, which you can't always see here. And that indicates that someone's being caught of doing something they shouldn't be doing. So you can't kind of deny the cards that pop up there. So it's a warning to say, make sure you don't cut any corners, be one step ahead of the game. And if something just doesn't feel right, don't worry about dotting the i's, crossing the t's. Trust your intuition. You can work out the whys and hows later on, but follow that gut feeling. But I think it's we'll be working hard, head down, and focusing on what's important, prioritizing us. Then perhaps in the background somebody could be trying to do something a little bit off there within that.
Yeah. You know, that just feels like almost it's always in theme when you step into more of your truth or your power or however you want to put it, which is
There's
about like
always a fucker in the way, isn't there?
there, yeah, or in the rearview mirror. Like it's like somebody is not always going to be happy for you, and it sucks. It hurts. You know, I remember when I launched the Medium Experience Instagram, and I had very, very close people to me follow me, and I could feel that they were not supporting me. Like I could feel whether they were making fun of me or talking poorly, but it was sticky. And then, you know, they unfollowed me. And that is something that just hurts. And you know that they love you. You see them in your life, but they just weren't on board for this new abstract extension of you that has never been blossomed before. And when you do anything for the first time, even if it is in Leo season and that's just being a new part of you that you haven't been yet, like a new version of you, um, there's going to be probably somebody thinking that you're inauthentic.
Hmm.
Authenticity doesn't always come out the gate being like, I'm arrived, like here I am, yay. Like it's not that easy. It's a risk, and it's a risk at a cost. And that
Yeah.
cost sometimes is the people around you saying, I don't believe it. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, a big lesson I learned years ago is you think on the spiritual pathway that everybody really is love and light because that's what you think, but when you come into it, that wow, the backstabbing and the unspiritual people, oh my goodness, it's a big, big eye opener. And you're right, you know, success does bring jealousy. It's not nice, but it is how it is. It's their stuff, it's not your stuff, and I hope that people carry on light in their light, and they don't allow people like that to dim their light, particularly in this season, and just know that that's their pathway, it's their issues, it's things they've got to deal with. But it is an ongoing theme, like you say. Every bit of success always draws someone. You get it in the press, in everywhere, where they build someone up and then they pull them back down again. And that kind of, even within the cards there, this could also relate to people themselves, where you're building yourself up, you're making some changes, and then perhaps you have imposter syndrome and think, I can't do this. Am I good enough for this? Or other people might be saying, perhaps you should go down this road, that road, but believe in yourself more. Believe in yourself more. And the good thing about that card, it is only a minor card. Like, it's not a major card. So the minor cards weaken things. So it's just like a irritant. It's
Mhm.
just like a little scratch. It's not a big deal. The big deal is the positive changes. So the minor cards, they've got more flexibility. It doesn't have to affect you. It's just a bit of a warning there. But yeah, you kind of get thick skin, don't you, when you've been in this game a little while.
Yeah. Ugh, I don't know. I mean, it depends on what day you ask me, because some days I'm just a pile of emotional mess on the floor, and then other days when I probably am in my rising Leo, I mean, just even at the retreats, like I can walk in and I can run a retreat with 16 women for 4 days, 5 days, and I am in my truth, I'm in my power, and I'm a little bit more in my masculine because I'm leading, and I do it flawlessly. And I want to say effortlessly, but it's because the effort came prior to that. When I show up, I've done all the hard work. But then, the tail end of that, I crash. Every year I crash. And that was cancer season. And I crashed hard this year. And I think it's because I needed a lot to learn. But by pulling that chaos card, not only for my retreat, but also for all of cancer season, it gave me the awareness to be prepared for things to not go my way. And a lot didn't go my way. And so, as you say, this minor card, I think it's just a little bit of a whisper in your ear of saying, not everybody's going to support you. Not everybody's going to be a fan of you being more in your light, being more in the spotlight. So, what are you going to do about it? And where can you extract the wisdom from that? And usually, when it comes to people not being a fan of us, the wisdom is having a boundary, and being okay if people disagree with you and still staying in the love.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's very much Leo, is being in your power, having the confidence to feel courageous about what you're doing, to speak your truth. And that saying, which is perfect for you. We said it last time, never going to be everyone's cup of tea, because they're going to
So
be
true.
champagne,
You
you
know what
know?
just moved through me right now? Let's talk about this for a second, Kate, because I hear, and we just said it, you and I both said it, step into your power. I hear it all the time in our industry, like, oh, claim back your power, take your power, step into your power. And I'm getting this download right now that's like that there's a lot of people that falsely step into what they claim as their power by feeding their ego, and
Mm,
they talk the talk but they don't walk the walk. And I
mm,
feel like what do they say, confidence is quiet, insecurity is loud. And I think that when I'm more in my power, it doesn't display itself as power, it displays itself as neutrality and peace and love and beauty. And so me in my power is me being like effortlessly Jenny. It's
mm,
not
yeah.
me going and barking at people and yelling at people and screaming from the rooftops, because that's still needing external validation that I'm powerful.
Yeah, and that's exactly what that Leo strength card is all about. Gentle caress, gentle power, not the screaming and the shouting. We don't need to do that. There's that saying, that silence is deadly, and that's sometimes just not saying something is much more powerful than saying things. And I think that's going to be key all the way through Leo season there. And often the ones that are creating, that are having a big dramatic unfold of chaos that they're sharing, and it can be seen all over social media at times, they've lost their power. And
Mhm.
dare I say it, they're weak. And I don't mean weak in a horrible way, but they've just not found that inner strength. Inner strength is that inner peace, absolutely, where you just don't have to say anything because you just got that knowing. Not
Yeah.
everything needs vocal words. that knowing, you know, you can kill someone with a look, can't you, sometimes? So
Well, you
I
and I
think
can certainly.
I think there's a lot to be said about and that quietly confident, you know, being quietly confident there.
Yeah,
There's a lot to be said about that. But inner strength, inner wisdom, and gentle strength is where you get your power from. I think it's your medicine. Your power is your medicine. You know.
absolutely. And holding space for yourself, that's what came through me. I mentioned, I think two sessions ago when we were talking about Gemini season is just like, it's not just about holding space for other people. It's not just about being a channel for other people. You still have to do
Mm,
the space holding for yourself, whatever that may look like. But this, like with what we're saying, I think if you guys want to do some journal prompts around this, one is how comfortable am I being seen and why or why not? And kind of let the narrative play out in your mind on like, where are you still hiding beneath the constraint of your ego because you seek safety over being seen. And then the other one would just be about like, what actually does power mean to you? And what would that look like if you were truly authentically in your power? Like that could mean actually walking away. Like being in your power could
absolutely.
mean something really, really soft.
Absolutely. And I think it goes hand in hand. I did
Oh my gosh, I just drew the power card.
I love
Stop
that.
it.
I love that.
I
I love
just drew the dragon power card and it's also number 11 and I logged on at 11:11. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
You
I
guys.
love that. I love that. Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
synchronicities of things. Again, it's like just trusting your intuition, following what your soul wants, not what your head wants all the time, and what your ego wants. Your ego, not for everybody, but there's this, I want to be seen to be doing this. I want to be seen to be doing it. I think I should be doing this. This is expected of me. And that's your ego led. When you listen to your intuition and be driven by your soul, it's a lot more simpler, it's a lot more peaceful, and that's where you've got your power. 100% in that soul, that's where you've got your power. It's all there. You don't have to do all these amazing things outwardly, you can do them inwardly. Once your soul's felt it once, it's felt it, it's done, tick the
Yeah.
box, it's ready for the next chapter. But that
Yeah.
power card it literally ignites everything that we've been talking about.
Well, and so I just did a recent meditation, and this dragon showed up and it was like this green emerald, like really iridescent looking dragon. And it felt extremely like docile and soft, but like I knew the strength. It's a freaking dragon, but it wasn't intimidating. And
Mhm.
he told me his name was Malachi, and I don't know what that meant. And I looked it up and it was
It's
messenger of
green,
God.
and
Yeah,
it's the color green, isn't it? Yeah.
in the heart chakra green. And so anyway, the fact that this dragon shows up and it's the power card, I mean, this is the mystical realm. This is like call and protection, whatever you want, Archangel Michael or the dragon or what it doesn't even need a name. It's an energy, like calling in your inner power, calling out external power of the universe to support you. Just play with it. I'm going to draw three cards as well. The next one that came out was Pine Spirit Purification. And so to me, this is such a beautiful card, but to me, when I read purification, it wasn't immediately about the body, it was about your environment. It really was about the people, the chatter, the energy, and what are you used to being around? And does that support you in being seen? Does it support you in a realm of moving towards more of your authenticity, more of expressing your inner child? And maybe not, being too aggressive about creating boundaries, but just being observant enough to take a step back.
Yeah, I think the aggressive part is really key for Leo. I mean, you think of a lion and you think of aggressive, but actually it's the opposite. It's the gentle power throughout the whole
Mhm.
season. Gentleness with everything that you do. Take the aggression away and deal with things or do things, nurture yourself, everything in gentle, soft way.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to just ask, what will Leo season bring us? What will Leo season bring us? Ooh, flow, meandering path. It is all about flow. So maybe it's just the introduction of a little bit more balance. And so we went to the depths in Cancer season. We're learning how to nourish ourselves. So we have this whopping Capricorn moon, and now it's like, but can I relax? Can I just like take off the heaviness? Can I surrender all of the routine and the schedule and the expectations and the mind chatter, the busyness in our, our cognitive mind of all the things that we need to do and where we need to be, and can we allow a little bit more flow on our heart just being more in alignment with the expression of who we are. I love that.
Absolutely. And it's interesting you said about malachite crystal, because that is well, malachite is the crystal, and it is green, and it's similar, it's greeny blue, so it's similar to that color there, but it is the crystal of spiritual awakenings, of healing your heart
Oh,
chakra,
really?
of spiritual enlightenment, and having those awakenings,
Oh,
and having more connection. Yeah,
oh
so
my
that's
God.
really interesting.
It
Yeah.
is. I mean, this Adonis unicorn and Malachi dragon, I'm like, what planet am I living on? I mean, I really wonder. And then have you worked with Lilith, the Lilith energy?
No, not particular. No, touch on, most things, but not on its own, not as
I've
its
been
own.
aware of it and I definitely have like known about it. Mine's an Aquarius, but I haven't had her present herself. I haven't had that, like that first encounter with a guide where it's like, this is undeniably happening right now. And that just happened last week. And she was so fierce, and like her whole right side of her body was burnt. And whatever aspect of me started to put wet rose petals on her because I wanted to heal her and cleanse her, and she didn't want me to. She's like, don't erase my past. Like it was really interesting. And so these archetypes, these realms, this energy keeps coming through to support me in so many ways, and I love it because it starts to builds confidence, because it makes us feel not alone when we really open up to the world of spirit like that. It's just mine's more abstract, maybe. I don't know. All right, I'm drawing us a unicorn card. We're going into this season with a unicorn.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I should have
Oh.
got, I don't know if I've got them. I should bring next time. I don't think I've got them on me. My mystic, oh, do I? No, my mystic message deck. I should pull us a card. I don't think I've got them on me.
All right,
Did
this
they
is what come
offer me
through.
anything?
I love this because after I had my first encounter with my unicorn last year, then I hosted a retreat, and I definitely had the unicorn energy supporting me. Like I found pearls on the ground. Like there was a lot of things that were very synchronistic. And then I drew this card for the group, and it's unicorn portal. Focus your light and listen for a message. So this is the initiation, like opening the unicorn portal, understanding that you have mystical beings that are ready to move through that portal and support you, whether it be a Pegasus, a unicorn, a dragon. It doesn't really matter, but focus on opening the portal. Like focus on that crown chakra lighting up and just initiate. I'm ready. I'm ready to open this realm. Love it.
And that goes in perfect with the Lion's Gate energy on the 8th, as well, as we open that portal for all
Yeah.
sorts of magical new experiences and awakenings that's going to happen
So
if
do
we
you
allow.
have a link for are you teaching a class, or do you have something already pre-recorded for that?
It's going to be pre-recorded, so
Okay.
yeah, I'll send you over the link for it.
Yeah, we'll
I
put that in
was
the show
going to
notes.
do a class. I did think on the 8th I'm going to do a class, a live class of it. And then I thought, one, there'll be everyone and their unicorn doing it. So it will clash with everybody. And two, I know what I'm like. I have all the intentions in the world of doing something live on particular dates. And then when it comes to it, I'm like, I'm not in the mood to do it, or I can't be bothered, or the kids have come home late and the dinner's late. It never goes quite to plan when I have the idea a week or so earlier. So now I've learned, you know what, act on it when you feel like it. So pre-record it all and then set it up. And then if you're good to go on that night, I can redo again. But if something comes up, which it usually does, doesn't matter, it's already done. But yeah, I've missed opportunities where I've waited for the actual date and then just I've not felt it on that actual
Hmm.
night. So this will be pre-recorded that people can just download, do the meditation and visualize, and there's lots of tips on it, how to use the Lionsgate energy. Yeah, it's a whole magical thing I've created this year.
Amazing. I want to do it. I can't wait. All right. Well, let's wrap it up here. Is there any last thoughts, messages, journal prompts, anything moving through to offer the listeners for this beautiful Leo season?
I think just to be gentle with yourself and to take a breath and step back from drama and the blocks that might be stopping you living that calm inner peace life. Like, I think sometimes there's two aspects. I think we need to be grounded and not blame everything on spirit, you know, like spirit has put this in the way or that in the way or stopped me doing this. I think we have to be realistic where our personal responsibility comes in with that. But I do think we need to open our eyes and think, do you know what, are we really doing something that isn't in alignment with us? Are we really being true to our calling, or is it our want rather than our need? And I think once you can understand that, the reins drop and you can be in your own power, because every time you go and do something, you just check in with your soul. Does this feel right? Is it my head that wants it, or is it really for my soul? And it helps with that courage to break away from perhaps what doesn't serve you, which is very Leo. And when you become more authentic, the fun is out there. There's just less stress, there's less drama. It's easier because you're in alignment. So I would say I would want to encourage people to walk their own true power and to make it gentle, much more gentler. I think the world is hard enough as it is without us having to put our own struggles to it as well. So look for where you can make things more easier, and be that gentle line on yourself. Lick your wounds, take some time, and find where you can find that power of inner peace.
Yeah, so lovely. I feel that in my body right now. Um, and just, on reflection with the cards I drew, I think you guys just need to realize you will find your power,
Mm-hmm.
the path
Power
of
is a good
your.
word.
It is, it is. I love that that came through and that it had a dragon on it. But you will find your power through the path of purification of your energy, and that will create flow. And so that was the main message. And I think that that's what we want when it really comes to the fifth house, which is ruled by Leo, of being more in our inner child effervescence so we can be seen for our truth.
Yeah,
Mm.
and get creative. Do some fun things. Get creating in that fifth house. Um, do things that you perhaps wouldn't normally do on your day-to-day life. Do something a bit
Like
spontaneous,
spontaneous.
a bit fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's have
I
some
hear
fun.
the word freedom. What gives you a sense of freedom? Like, where do you feel freedom? What could you do for yourself today that will initiate the feeling of freedom?
Hmm.
So fun. Oh my gosh, Kate, I love you. I love our conversations. I
I
love you
love
wearing
today.
yellow.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, thank you for another joining us for another episode of Tarot and Tea, and we will see you in a month.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.